bad, and the odd. They don't half talk some bollocks.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
So today we are talking about this year's 2022's The Batman. We are probably going to spoil this film quite a bit, but before we start spoiling, we'll give an announcement. But I'm not sure it's that spoilery. It's more the mood, really, than anything. I have to say before we start, I am also watching the original Batman series, which you kind of watched the first one for me and then you're out, right? It's like, you like the film, right?
Yeah, I like the film. I'll say the film is great and possibly one of the better representations of how Batman stories usually end up going.
There's always a bomb, right? There's always a bomb.
It's more a case of it's just like, oh, okay, so I know this person's behind it. Oops, there's actually like 5 other people involved.
Yeah. Well, just to be clear, we're talking about the 1966.
Yes.
So I'm working through it, and now it's an interesting series because it's 3 seasons, but it's constructed. It was originally planned to be an hour-long show, but then the network said, no, we don't want that. We want sort of 2 short ones. So what they do is basically split each. They started by splitting it in half and showing it across 2 nights during a week, which is why you get those cliffhangers, revolving swords or whatever.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat time, same bat channel. So they originally started splitting them, and then they designed it pretty early on, designed it to be a 2-part show, and always ending with a cliffhanger. I'm digging it, but I've hit a roadblock with one of them. So the first stories I saw were the Riddler, the Penguin, the Joker, Mr. Freeze. All fine. But the 5th story, or rather episodes 9 and 10, if you like, was a character called Zelda the Great. And man, it was a terrible pair of episodes because they obviously didn't have enough plot to fill the time, and they were doing all these stupid filler things. But it was just bad. It was just not good. So I don't know what went wrong, but I'm looking for the next one's the Riddler, I think, or the Joker. So that'd be fine. But you know what? That old series, I like some of the weirder characters I think they introduced just for the series, and then they become amalgamated. But specifically King Tut, I like. I don't mind Egghead. But you know what, Egghead, if you see it, it's Vincent Price.
Yeah.
It's actually done because they considered Lex Luthor as a villain and said, no, he's too boring. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Lex Luthor's one of the most interesting DC villains.
Yes, I mean, yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay. But, you got to remember the tone of the show is like, right? So fair enough. So, the Zelda the Great one was awful, but she doesn't reappear. So that was one and only time. But they do have some other weird ones. They have like a cowboy one as you go on. They have one who's like a very camp archer kind of bloke, like almost like Robin Hood, but and things like that. And some really, really weird choices. But I might talk about it on our comfy chair sometime. Anyway, I don't know why I'm kind of just
got off on a tangent.
Other Batman things. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm not really talked about it, but I am on a long-term quest to get through every Star Trek, and I'm slowly getting through it all. I'm currently on season 7 of Next Gen, which I have watched before, but a long time ago. Yeah. So I'll be moving on to Deep Space Nine, which will be a first watch for me. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I'm also working through Doctor Who, but I'm also decided to start working through Batman. So I'm going to watch the 60s series, and then I'm going to watch in chronological order all of the animated Batman stuff.
I think you should be able to get the Blu-ray of the entire Batman, the animated series stuff.
Cool.
On Amazon. I got mine on Amazon a couple of years back. I don't know if it was like a limited run thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have a look. But for now, I mean, I've got the Blu-rays of the original 60s Batman, so I'm working through those.
Into like Justice League. Because Batman
maybe, probably. I haven't really thought that one through. I've been more like, but I can't remember the specific, like Batman, Brave and the Bold, all of those kind of mainline Batman shows. What I might do is mainline Batman, and if I finish and still want more, I'll then go back and do the ones where he's like Justice League, And probably all the movies at some point too, the animated movies too. Anyway, let's get on with this one. So this one, directed by Matt Reeves, who brings an interesting sensibility to this. Robert Pattinson's the Batman in this, and Bruce Wayne. Well, we'll get into the cast as we go, but as a general thing, what was the feeling about the film and the feeling about Batman?
I think this might be one of my favorite Batman films.
Really?
I think I enjoyed this more than Dark Knight.
Wow.
It's one of those. Dark Knight is on paper a better film, but this was such more of a Batman film.
It did feel like a proper gritty 70s Batman story, and it was feeding from several influences or homages or whatever you want to call it. I was seeing a lot of Batman Year One in this, even though it was Year Two.
It's technically in Batman's second year, it was. He's got diaries, like handwritten diaries. But no spoilers. But it does take It's a lot of energy of Year One. It's Batman still learning stuff.
Yeah. And there was also a lot of imagery that reminded me strongly of the Arkham Asylum video game too. In many ways, but we'll get into the specifics of that. So you generally thought this was a great film, and you like Robert Pattinson as Batman, and you like the representation of Batman, which is
yes. Yeah.
I agree. I think this was a really well directed film. Apart from there's a few sections, it was a very dark in terms of low lighting kind of film.
Yeah, that was something I was planning to bring up later, but it's like literally the darkest film, but you can still tell everything that's going on.
Yeah, I had one particular section, which we'll get to as we go through the story, where I had a problem. But otherwise, I was kind of fine with it. And I also, actually more than fine, I thought it was great. I also thought the casting overall was excellent, actually. I thought every member of the cast did something wonderful with what they were given. It was weird though that Colin Farrell's the Penguin in this was completely unrecognisable. It's so weird that they cast him and then made him look completely different. However, the makeup was amazing.
The makeup was amazing. And it was a great performance.
It was a great performance, and the makeup, he was able to act through the makeup, and the makeup was totally convincing. You would not know that was a man in a suit.
No.
Or any of that stuff. So it was really, really cool. And I really like Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle.
Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. We got Andy Serkis as Alfred. Jeffrey Wright as not Commissioner Gordon. He's just like Officer Gordon.
Officer Gordon, yeah. And John Turturro as Falcone.
Carmine Falcone.
And I mean, the only thing that... All right, I'm not quite sure where to call spoilers. I think maybe we need to call them that. But generally, we thought it was a great film. One to see at the cinema too, right?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
All right, then let's say from this point on there will be spoilers. Having said that, I don't think, even if you knew the entire plot, I don't think it would in any way wreck your enjoyment. Personally, it's one of those kind of films.
It's the actual plot. Not super complex. So Riddler plots, you can't really go super complex because the complexity comes from solving the riddle.
That's right. But
this was really, really well done.
It was well done.
Cow. Every part of this fed into something more. All the everything that got set up paid off hugely.
Yeah.
Use the example of the Batmobile. Before you even see the Batmobile, you see bits of. It's not really the Batcave yet, but it's like a garage that Batman uses.
And you can see he's got a workshop to actually build the stuff himself.
And it'll do establishing shots where you can see an engine block in the front.
Stuff like that. So spoilers from this point, we'll say. Right. The one problem I want to bring up the negative before. There was two problems I had with the film. But I still thought it was a great film. I felt the Riddler was not the Riddler. It didn't feel like the Riddler to me. It was just a very insane version of the Riddler we used to. And I know the Riddler's always been edgy. And in fact, Gorshin, I believe Frank Gorshin.
I was going to say I can viewed it more as a throwback to Gorshin.
Gorshin was the edgiest of Riddlers. And I think if they actually made a serious dramatic Batman in that era, he would have been an excellent dramatic Riddler, as well as the jokey Riddler.
I'm not gonna lie,
because he's so intense, right?
I can exactly see Frank Gorshin singing Ave Maria as Batman tries to punch down the interrogation windows.
Yeah, but the problem I had, I think, with this Riddler is he felt a bit like more like a cross between Scarecrow and Zsasz than the Riddler, because the Riddler's not that murderous, is he? Really, he's more heisty. Joker's the much more murderous character.
Riddler. Riddler. I always interpreted him as the because all Batman villains have some sort of psychosis. His psychosis is his obsession with being smarter than Batman. In this, he's proving himself smarter than everybody, but Batman beat him. So he's got his focus on Batman. This is establishing for Riddler more than it was for Batman.
Yeah, I like the fact that Riddler was really smart, but he was obviously completely psychotic as well. And honestly, I felt that we talked about the Batman influence. I also feel like the film Seven felt like a big influence on the story.
Yeah, this is hugely.
And possibly also Batman's Long Halloween as well. Yeah. The Long Halloween story from the 90s, I think that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hush more than Long Halloween.
I don't know Hush, so
is the storyline is actually about a guy that knew Bruce Wayne as a kid and was he tried to kill his own parents so that they could he'd inherit all their money, but Thomas Wayne saved their life, so he's got a big vendetta against the Wayne family, which is they kind of folded into this, but also there's that bit where Riddler's video gets released. It's Thomas Wayne paid Hush money, and a big Hush appeared on screen. I'm like, that's the influence. That's
yeah.
They're being real upfront with the influence. That's the influence.
I need to read some of these newer stories really, because honestly, I'm kind of my favourite Batman story ever in terms of sit down and look at and read is definitely Arkham Asylum, the Grant Morrison Arkham Asylum. I just think that's possibly the greatest graphic novel ever done. Personally, that's how I feel about it. But there's a lot of great Batman graphic novels. Returns, Long Halloween,
people.
Yes, there's loads, and I haven't really gone through them. I'm more an old school Batman. I used to read it when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, and I often go back to those too. And I'm not that when it gets into more complex areas like Azrael, I'm not that interested. But I have read them, but I haven't read the standalone Batman as much as I really should, because I really like Batman. Batman's my second favorite comic book character by far. Second only to Judge Dredd. Yeah. Those two stand alone for me as my favourite comic book characters. So Batman means a lot to me. I thought Pattinson also knocked this out of the park.
Being Batman. He was so good. I like this because it's a year one Batman, so he's leaning more into being Batman. He's not even got the Bruce Wayne persona really.
No,
it's just
he's not interested in the.
There's a line from Batman Beyond, one of the animated series, where Bruce Wayne's been hypnotized a bit, and he's like, I knew I was hypnotized, and the new Batman's like, well, how'd you know? He goes, I refer to myself as Bruce, and I don't do that. That's a good perspective on Batman. This is Batman playing Batman without any Bruce Wayne elements to him.
No.
So
yeah.
He's not even pretending to be like the Playboy billionaire sort of thing.
There was a little kerfuffle about his casting, wasn't it? But I think it was more clickbait generation than people actually being outraged personally. Because Pattinson's proved himself. Twilight wasn't the best start, but he has consistently delivered on the acting performances, and the last thing I saw him in before this, it was like, that's really solid. And I haven't seen much of his other stuff, but I am kind of aware of it. Is The Lighthouse, where he gave an amazing performance. So I had no reservations about Bruce. I was expecting him to deliver something good, and he did. I was fully expecting that. And I have to say, I also really like Zoe Kravitz as Selina. I think she made a great performance as well. And it was kind of cool to see Andy Serkis as Alfred. And they did,
even if he didn't really get to do much.
No, I would have preferred more Alfred time. Personally, we'd see him like in a hospital at one point, but for example, but he does a little, but not much. Pattinson did make me laugh though when he was dressed as not as Batman. He kind of looked emo-y.
Yeah,
in no way did he come across as pathetic in any way.
Like I've got someone where I work that's like, don't really want to see it because he looks too wiry. But it's like his introduction is he basically just grabs a guy and keeps punching him in the face.
Yes.
Like it's just so fat. It's more like in Dune where Paul's the skinniest guy, but he can move the fastest and still hit the hardest.
Yeah.
Like it just comes across like that.
And if you're in a fight,
Plus it plays into
who would you rather fight, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Lee, both in their prime. Right?
I'd rather.
That's a tough. You're gonna lose.
Schwarzenegger pull me in half, maybe, but Bruce Lee would make it hurt a lot more.
Would mess you up much faster, wouldn't it? It would mess you up much faster. I also like the establishment very, very early on. He's created this persona in Gotham that the thieves and the dangerous people are scared of the shadows, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes where they just see the bat signal and they start like looking at like dark corridors and shadows, and they're like, "No, you know
it
what?
was interesting.
Leave."
It was interesting. We get one thief in a kind of purple pumpkin mask, a reference to Scarecrow. Yeah. But he's just an ordinary sort of hot thief, he's holding up a liquor store or something. But you can see him like nervously looking around and actually get hit by a car because he's not paying attention, which is funny. But then we see Batman. Also, there's these gang of yobs. There was an interesting sound. There's this gang of yobs on a
doing like
train.
An initiation.
With a white face, but they got a guy in there who's only got half a white face. Yeah. And I thought that character was going to somehow come back because he was kind of set up quite significantly and pointed out. Because Batman just beats the crap out. Because these guys grabbed this poor dude.
Yeah, it's a gang initiation. They just start beating up some random guy.
Yeah, and they're watching YouTube videos of themselves hitting people, knocking people cold. It's kind of good. That felt like it might be a bit of a nod towards the mutants in Dark Knight Returns, but I
thought them as like a Joker gang.
Yeah, they did look a bit like a Joker gang as well.
Later on they do establish that Joker he's existent in this.
He's existent in this.
He's pre-existing. So
yes, which is an interesting choice of the actor. We'll talk about that that's much more near the end. I'm not going to go through this scene by scene. This is a lot. Firstly, this is a really long film, 176 minutes. Do you feel it filled its time well, or did it drag a bit? For the
most part, the only bit that I really think needed. It didn't need to be 100% changed, but it needed a bit of rewriting going on. Is like the last half hour, because it feels like they beat Riddler and then they've got to go fight Riddler thugs.
Yeah, so it
they
kind of.
I get like trying to do like a Silence of the Lambs, the villain's court, and his plan's still going on while but it's not Silence of the Lambs. It's Batman.
Which there was a similar problem with the Dark Knight, right? Because it felt like there was a fourth act when we already had the three acts of the story. So it suffered from the same problem. However, to me, I think it filled its time well. It was a bit incoherent in the last act where these random blokes that had been recruited by the Riddler started trying to kill people that were vulnerable. And it was a bit odd. And also, I felt that there was a little mistake where we basically get Batman being the guy that leads people to safety. Because it doesn't really establish
in a Batman film. Oh my God, he's saving people.
Not that. It's just that you didn't see quite how the people were. It wasn't technically, it wasn't well established. People were trapped. You saw sort of falling stuff, and then suddenly Batman swoops down. You think, why is he doing that? And then he pulls a thing away and leaves people out. Yeah. But it needed. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying it wasn't properly established in the shooting that people were being trapped that way. Does that make sense? To me, that's
to you, yeah. I kind of just interpreted that people were trapped because they dropped. First thing was they shot the mayor-elect, and then. The building started to collapse. So
yeah.
I kind of assumed that they were trapped. straight away.
Yeah, so. Fair enough. It stayed, for Batman films, it stayed mostly grounded. It didn't rely on some of the sci-fi bits of the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, the techiest we got was he had a taser like gauntlet and the Batmobile.
Yeah, but a taser like gauntlet is fine.
Yeah.
Right? The Batmobile looked like a muscle car in many respects.
The Batmobile I loved. I think this is my favourite Batmobile.
Okay.
Whole sequence. Just like middle of a fight, Batman seems to just disappear so Catwoman's fighting on her own. And you just hear the engine start up. It's like you know exactly what's happened because like they've been hinting at it with all the engine stuff I was talking about earlier. And then you see the engine start to glow orange inside the car. It's like, oh god. And then the jet engine starts.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I had a problem with the car chase scene, I have to say, because it was so dark and the headlights just annoyed me after a while. And I felt it was like, what's going on? You know, it wasn't quite coherent. Now, I'm complaining again. I know that. But I did say right at the beginning, there were two things that bothered me. I already talked about the Riddler character, but the other one was this particular car chase. I found the headlights, in the end, I just had to squint or close my eyes to get through it, which is not good for a movie, right? But it was fairly short, and it was a really cool car.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm still a fan of the 66 car.
Yeah. And I love how the Batmobile played into the fear development.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what does he have? He has the scariest goddamn car that is unstoppable. Like, it doesn't need gadgets. It just powers through literally everything.
Now, one thing that we've seen about superhero films is sometimes when they crowd villains into a film, it really is to the detriment of a film. And I'm thinking of things like Spider-Man 3, Batman, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Do you think they used all the villains in this in a way that worked to the film's favour? Or do you think
because they mostly stuck to, like, I don't want to say the lower end because these are some of his most notable villains, but like it wasn't stupid stuff. You didn't see Clayface or Killer Croc.
Yeah,
like these are the more grounded characters.
Yeah, so, I agree.
And it's also like a standard Batman tactic. Like he goes and he knocks about some of the lesser criminals to figure out who's what's going on with the bigger villain.
Yeah, so, when you get more detective orientated super costumed heroes or superheroes or whatever it is, they tend to do that, right? Rorschach uses that technique, for example. The Punisher uses that technique. Batman uses that technique. Daredevil uses that technique. Yeah. So it's kind of those that actually deal with crime rather than grandiose supervillains tend to do grunt work, right? They tend to go and try and figure out things from other people. But I found some of the Riddler stuff was very calling back to the some of the riddles. It was like he lies still. What do you do when you kill a squirrel? What happens to a squealer when you kill him? He lies still, right?
Yeah,
things like
loved
that.
It.
But I did figure it out. I figured out what's going on before. For example, he said drive, and they're in a garage, and I was thinking, no, I think that's more probably a computer drive. And then immediately they found a computer, a USB drive in a car. With
the guy's thumb attached. Ugh.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Which is very Riddler actually, and very Joker as well.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite short scenes was when they just after they caught Penguin after the car chase. Actually, was when they were sort of talking through a thing because they figured out that they think they figured out the identity of a rat that Riddler is looking for, a squealer.
Yes.
And they think it's Penguin. Because
they call it a rat with wings, don't they?
Yeah. It says you are la rata alada.
Yeah, rat with wings.
And like Penguin has to correct them on their Spanish. And he's like, no habla español.
Yes,
you are El Rato, not La. It's El. Then they figure out it's URL, as in website.
Yeah. I see. I didn't realise that. I have to say, I really like version of the Penguin here, because he was like a mid-tier gangster type who ran a club, but he wasn't as gangster as Falcone. But he also had kind of a strict code, right?
Yeah.
Like a criminal code, which had its own honour.
It's an honour among thieves sort of situation. He's not a good person at all.
Yeah.
So
basically, even Falcone, who's super powerful, when the Penguin finds out he's broken that code, Penguin doesn't care.
Penguin's his
he sets his mind, right?
Yeah, he's like, you complete, like, he calls him a fucking rat and tries to shoot him straight away.
Yeah.
Like, in front of, like, hundreds of police.
People. Penguin does not care. Does not care. But he's known to have quite a bad temper, and he's also known to be, he doesn't like being called the Penguin. As well.
No, I don't think he really minds being called the Penguin that much in, like, the actual comics on this.
No, he doesn't.
It's more of a...
He owns it, right?
Yeah. He owns it. So, yeah.
So we get a couple of sort of gangster types throughout this story. We get is it Maroni or
Maroni is sort of a past tense character in this film.
Something that happened to him, and they're trying to find out who ratted him out. Mate, basically, is
it turns out it's Falcone, his main rival.
In addition, there's another ongoing story where a girl is missing who is a friend of Selina. Selina was looking after. Yeah. Selina's also a proficient cat burglar and fighter. She's pretty tough, right? Yeah. So she doesn't. She's got her own sort of mission. But in the process of this, we got the Riddler saying, basically he wants to bring vengeance to Gotham. It's a bit Bane-like in many ways.
Yeah.
He wants to bring vengeance to Gotham because of what's happened, and we find out he was basically a mistreated orphan, which is a real weird, interesting parallel with Bruce Wayne.
They could have built that up more as a parallel, I feel. Yeah,
it does come up later in quite a strong way because the Riddler kind of gets obsessed with Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne's the only one that escapes his vengeance.
He's an orphan that was able to live big, basically.
Yeah.
But he got to buy his way out.
So you get a suggestion the Penguin as a kid was abused, certainly bullied, possibly abused.
Was abused.
Which led to him being in the state he's in. So there's a bit of sympathy for that character from that perspective. What do you think of the Riddler's outfit, that weird...
I liked it because they do imply there's a bit where they say that he's like a forensic analyst or something.
Okay.
I've seen someone do a breakdown of the suit. It's like, okay, it's all super cheap stuff and stuff that you can do to hide your identity. It's like it removes his facial features. It removes it makes facial tracking difficult to do. So you can't even your cameras won't pick up.
But interestingly, he keeps on his distinctive glasses, which is odd, right? Yeah. Paul Dano, Paul Dano is good at this edgy kind of character. He did a good.
That he was kind of just a YouTuber.
Yes, he was. Interestingly, they changed his name because in the comics he's Edward Nygma, but they called him Nashton
Edward
to make
Nashton.
It less cheesy, I think. He does live stream his what he's up to. If he's captured someone or has kidnapped someone or is doing crimes, he's kind of telling Gotham what's going on. And we find out there's a massive conspiracy going on, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where everyone's
kind of
feeding
a trust fund that Thomas and Martha Wayne had set up to help the poor and impoverished.
Yeah.
This is also a nice thing of, well, why doesn't Bruce Wayne just buy everyone in the city a house or help fund everything? Well, Gotham's so corrupt that it doesn't work like that. He literally can't. They had infinite money and it still got fucked up.
Yes. So. Yeah, in fact, that happens quite early in the mayoral campaign. And he says, we have this fund.
The rebuilding fund.
And she said, well, we've had it for 30 years. It hasn't worked so far. This is the other candidate for mayorship. And she makes some good points. Basically, you find out loads of officials, police, city officials, the DA's office, they're all kind of in with this. They're going to these sex clubs or whatever, where this girl who disappeared was. And basically, Batman finds evidence given to him by the Riddler, I have to say, that this girl was on the arm of the DA and she's disappeared.
No, she was on the arm of the mayor.
The mayor, the mayor. But the DA's involved. Also, there's a point where Batman has punched a guy going into a club, and then he recognises him in the police department when Gordon.
They catch him due to him being accidentally involved in honestly a riddle off with the Riddler, with the middleman being a guy who has a bomb on his neck. The bomb blows up, Batman gets knocked out, and there's a lot of discussion over whether to just take his mask off. And Batman
he wakes up just in time.
Away.
Yeah. He keeps punching coppers.
This is a movie where Batman punches a lot of people a lot of times.
And Jeffrey Wright Taylor says, "Let me have a few words with him," and then sort of says, "Right, you're gonna have to hit me and escape."
You're gonna go down this hallway, go right, head straight up the stairs. You'll find a way out. And then Batman just punches him in the face, completely lays him out. Ducks out the door.
And later on, Gordon says, "You could have pulled your punch," and Batman says, "I did." I mean, he is brutal. He's a proper ninja fighter. He takes on a whole gang without a second thought. He takes on 10 blokes without a second thought.
Again, he gets shot in the head at that point. Someone shoots him in the head. It pings off, and he looks at the guy, grabs the gun, and just starts punching him in the head.
Yeah. He does not mess around. I really like this version of Batman. I think it really worked. I wonder if they do more, he'll become more Bruce Wayne-y. And I can see the way of him getting Bruce Wayne-y is to aid in his own detective work. Do you see what I mean? A bit like they did with Daniel Craig, because he was a bit thuggish in Casino Royale, but he kind of got smoother as it went on. So it could be like that. In fact, I asked Robert Pattinson if he wants to do
what ones he wanted to do, and he said he listed off Court of Owls.
Court of Owls would be interesting. I haven't read that story. I know it.
You should read Court of Owls. It's really.
I really should.
He also mentioned Hush.
Yeah, I'd really like to see, and I know they can't do this as a feature film, but I'd like to see Arkham Asylum, frankly. The
Serious House on Serious Earth.
Serious House, that one, where he's basically, the Joker forces him to come in and confront his own demons and go through all of his various foes and sort of face them and deal with them to get to a certain point to rescue someone. It's basically almost like Dredd, right? It's like Dredd has to go up an office block. And Arkham Asylum is Batman having to go through this house of mad people and confront his own issues. While we find out the history of Arkham Asylum too. It's kind of interesting. I have to tell you this is a real aside I saw on Facebook, and it's kind of a bit mind-blowing. And someone said, has anyone noticed that Mark Hamill has Arkham right there in his name? Mark Hamill faces. It's just like, whoa! I never noticed that, but he does. Anyway, I'm getting a bit carried away on something else. We see him doing various detective work, both normal detective work and Riddlery kind of solve this riddle and I'll tell you more info kind of detective work, because he knows Batman's pretty smart. So he knows Batman will figure out stuff, and he wants Batman to know about it. For some reason, he's obsessed with Batman knowing about it.
There's they're working together. Is what he's thinking. It's like, he wants the same thing. He's I'll help him. It's more like is it Punisher? Welcome Back, Frank, where there's a bunch of copycat killers,
and
they invite him to be part of their thing.
Yes.
It's you're all fucking insane. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It is funny. It is funny when you get sort of these superheroes and someone tries to copy them, and you just know the originals are gonna hate them. Like for example, copycats of Rorschach. Rorschach would kill them if he was there. There's no doubt about that. And the Punisher would do the same, right? The Punisher would do the same. I mean, the plot goes on. I don't really want to get into the plot. I just felt like how violent.
As much as we told you, there's way more than.
Loads more. Loads more. For example, there is an attempt on Bruce Wayne's life that Alfred
takes the hit for.
It's a letter bomb kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of know when he gets an envelope. He gets two envelopes, like an envelope and a box.
Yeah.
And the envelope says on it fireproof as he opens it, and you think, oh. There's a firebomb or whatever it is.
That bit was so well shot, where it's he's calling up Alfred, and there was that weird maid that was almost like, what's her name, Aunt Harriet?
Yeah, the old lady.
She's kind of like Aunt Harriet from the original.
She is. She's exactly like Aunt Harriet, which leads me to think there are a few references to the original. Some of the Riddler stuff gets a bit like Frank Gorshin's Riddles.
Yeah.
Not quite, but it's damn close. And there's like an Aunt Harriet type. There's a couple of others. Which kind of gave me a chuckle, but they're not shying away from it. It's hardcore, but this is probably the darkest. I mean, the Nolan trilogy was kind of dark, but this is going a step darker. And it's funny when you look on Michael Keaton's Batman films now, they feel almost like the 60s Batman compared to the Batman we're seeing now, right? And that at that time it's like, oh, Batman's gone dark and all of that. It's funny. Batman always has, there's always, oh no, you can't have him as Batman. Well, Christian Bale everyone was really happy about his casting as Batman, weren't they? But Michael Keaton, people went apeshit when he was cast. They hated it, and I'm pretty much most people think he's the best Batman.
No one's happy with Batman's casting whenever it gets announced.
Yes, there's always something.
It's okay. So when Ben Affleck, no, can't happen. No, he's a pretty good Batman. Robert Pattinson, no, not the Twilight guy. He's really good Batman.
He's a really good Batman. He is a good Batman. Yeah.
Every single time, it's like, oh no, not Michael Keaton, not the Beetlejuice guy, no, and he's like one of the defining Batmans.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great Batman. Yeah. So, I'm not sure I've got that much more to say other than I thought it was I've raised my two issues.
The music was
great. Yeah.
Yeah. Written by Michael Giacchino. Before he'd actually been told any. I think he wrote it before he actually was invited on to do the music. Like, he was so excited to write a Batman theme that he'd written one separately.
Wow. That is. I've already said it, but I have to say I think Zoe Kravitz was exceptionally good as Selina Kyle. I think she's going to be a much bigger star, actually, from just watching this. She gave a great acting performance. She was athletic, and she kind of really fitted the Selina Kyle character really well. And she was compassionate too, because sometimes Catwoman can be just psychotic, right? She was not in any way psychotic. She was just, what she was, a burglar who was compassionate.
Quite a big, she's done a lot of films.
Well, they're not on my radar. I'm just gonna.
She was in Fury Road. She was one of the wives in Fury Road.
Oh, yeah, she was. You are right. She was.
One of the main characters in the last Fantastic Beasts film.
Okay, she was in X-Men First Class as well.
She's got quite a few big films.
I think this though gave her a really good profile. I mean, she can be a lead, right? She's proved herself as a lead. Interestingly, she was Selina Kyle in the Lego Batman film.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
That film was like 90% cameo. So
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like what was it? Billy.
Do you think they put her in knowing she was going to be cast in this, or
maybe?
Yeah, it could be.
But yeah,
because this took a long time to come, didn't it? Because of COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cast in 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe.
It might be. They said, she was the voice of Catwoman. This would give her a try. It could have been that, right? It could have been that. I assume if there's any future films, we will see more of the Penguin. I suspect we're going to see more of the Joker character, whoever that is. Let's talk about that. Apparently, the guy who was the Joker. Well, he's not named in this film, but right at the end, he's in the cell
next. He's a crazy laughing guy that tells Riddler a joke.
Who's got kind of a distorted face as well. From the
you can't see it. So.
You can't really see it. You only see side shots. But it's played by I can't remember the actor's name, but it's the guy that was. Is it Drogue or whatever it was in the Eternals? He's like a young Irish actor. He's an interesting, edgy actor.
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, that's it.
He was Druig, yeah.
Druig, that was the name. I think that could be an excellent Joker turn. actually, but we'll see, right? We'll see. It depends what they go on to next. I think you have to always be careful about Joker, because after Heath Ledger, it's like casting someone else as Conan or something. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard when someone nails it the first time. Or not the first time, obviously there were Jokers before him, but when you get a definitive characterization like that, it's kind of hard. You got to do something different. It's a bit like Tim Curry's Pennywise, right? They had to do someone equally talented but do it in quite a different way to make it work, which is what they did with Pennywise as well. But that original is always going to be the icon, the peak. Good film. It's one to see at the cinema, I'd say. I will be buying it as soon as it comes out, though. Having said that, I believe it's going to be on HBO Max. It said 45 days after a thing, so it's going to be in another couple of weeks. It's going to be on HBO Max as well. But it's worth seeing at the cinema. I really felt it also, and you sort of talked about the weakness in the third act. It didn't get a drag or boring in any way. It filled that 176 minutes.
It didn't need to be like gone. It just needed to be like reordered, sort of thing.
Yes. I also felt it filled its time excellently. At no point was I looking at my watch or wondering, I wish this would move on. I was invested all the way through.
And also no post-credit scene. That was good.
Well, apparently someone said there was, and when I Googled it, it's like some words on the screen.
Yeah, the green question mark appears and it says I can't remember, it says like the end or to be continued in the typed text font.
Also, that again reminded me heavily of both Arkham Asylum, the comic, the graphic novel, and Arkham Asylum, the video game. There was definitely elements of that in this. Certainly when you saw things written on a wall in unlit houses and things like that. That was like, oh yeah, that's from that game. That's they're borrowing from that game. I thought this was. He was a proper detective, right? It was Batman detective, not Batman action guy. In many respects, though there was lots of action scenes. Fair enough. What would you give this on your usual scale?
I'd give this a high 9.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Flat 9 out of 10 too. Excellent. So you reckon this is your favourite Batman film?
Yeah.
I have to say I've got 2 above it, personally, which is The Dark Knight and the animated Dark Knight Returns. I think I prefer those 2 a little above this, but I need to see this again. I want to see this again, and it might change at some point, and I need to see those other 2 again. But it was pretty high. I mean, after that, I'm not a big fan of Dark Knight Rises, but not so many people like that so much, right? After The Dark Knight, but as well. But I'd say this for me is at least top 3. Maybe higher. It may also change over time. I can't see it ever being less than top 3 unless even better Batman films comes out after this. I would have liked to have seen Affleck's take on it, but honestly, I'm very happy with this Batman film. I thought it was a solid entry into the Batman series. Now, we did talk last time, or was it off air? I can't remember. The fact we did 2 Rasputin films.
Yeah.
And we were, shall we start daisy chaining films? So it's possible. I mean, we've always got the Hammers, so the Hammers will be our break, and our comfort chairs will be our break. But it might be, we'll take this off air, but we might want to think about, okay, what can we daisy chain off of Batman? Director, actor, music, script writer. We'll figure out. I think whatever we do next, unless it's like a film that's just coming out, we'll have some sort of link to the Batman. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I'm happy if you want to choose, or I'm happy to choose. We'll talk about it off air. But I think next time we're probably going to do a Hammer. But then after that, we'll do whatever we think the links to the Batman.
Okay.
All right. Any final thoughts on the movie?
Really good. Go try and go see it in cinemas. It's really good. Go watch it.
Yeah.
I can't state this enough. Go see it.
Yeah. As we're recording and as this goes out, it'll still be in cinemas for probably another week or 2. So it's worth a try if you can. But I'm definitely buying the Blu-ray. I just think whenever I watch this film, though, I'm going to make sure I do it at night with the curtains drawn, because it's too dark to watch in daylight. Frankly, it's one of those. And it was annoying because in the cinema there was some of the exit signs were a bit bright, which was starting to get on my nerves because you couldn't see exactly what was on the screen sometimes because of they weren't bright, but they're always on, right? They're always on for every film. But most films you don't notice it because the films are well lit. But this one, it was like, I wish they'd dim those lights a bit more. So there was a bit of that. Okay, it was, I really enjoyed this film. It was a good one. All right then, so let's wind up there. Bye from me.
Bye.